Hey guys, it's Timmy and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited. So last night, Vince McMahon was on Monday Night Raw and he introduced the new wild card rule. Now many people, even after Vince tried to explain it last night, are still asking what the hell is the wild card rule, so we thought we would try to break it down and let you know exactly what this new WWE wild card rule is and how it can affect things going forward. So, last night on Monday Night Raw, we saw Vince McMahon in the ring with Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, and the WWE Champion Kofi Kingston. This then led to Vince stating that he had an epiphany, and that he was coming up with the wild card rule. What the wild card rule is, it allows certain superstars from Raw to be on SmackDown any given week, and certain superstars from SmackDown to be on Raw any given week. Now, it's not like anybody can just go from Raw to SmackDown, SmackDown to Raw whenever they want. Now first Vince said 3, but now it's 4. Only 4 SmackDown superstars can appear on Raw each week, and only 4 Raw superstars can appear on SmackDown every week. Also on WWE.com, they do state that this will allow Raw and SmackDown superstars to cross the brand lines for one night only appearances. So what that line is entailing is you're not going to see Roman Reigns this week on Raw, and then most likely you won't see him next week on Raw either. It's not going to be like every single week Roman's going to be on both shows. It's going to be like they want to change it up every week. Maybe we'll see Roman back on Raw in 3 weeks. Maybe we'll see Roman back on Raw in a month. It's unclear, but it looks like they don't want to have the same superstars taking advantage of the wild card rule every single week. And now, how do they come up with who's going to use the wild card rule any given week? In kayfabe, we can think that, it's Monday Night Raw, so everybody lines up at Vince's office and goes, Vince, can you put me on the list? I want to be in wild card rule. I want to go to SmackDown tomorrow. I don't know exactly how this is going to be determined, but now here's a positive thing for it. So say we've got somebody on Monday Night Raw like a Robert Roode, who one week he gets used and gets a big win, then the next week nothing about him, and then another week he gets beaten. He can go over to SmackDown with the wild card rule, pick up a big win, and then come over to SmackDown and boast, hey, I beat somebody on SmackDown, I went over there, I did this, give me an opportunity on Raw. Or, even better, somebody like a Robert Roode can just show up on SmackDown Live, challenge Finn Balor, the Intercontinental Champion, and maybe even win the championship. So maybe even in that regard, we can see people blurring the lines or crossing the lines, as WWE says, with the wild card rule that could ultimately lead them to bigger, better things. Not just like we saw last night, these 3 guys came to Raw, now they're going to get WrestleMania rematches. Yeah, that was cool. The Roman Reigns Drew McIntyre match was good for what it was until the DQ finish. But there's a real thing here where we can actually see some guys that aren't being used on Raw. And before I even continue my sentence, I know what you're going to say. Well, if they want to utilize a guy better on a different brand, why didn't they move him in the Superstar Shakeup? That's because WWE tried to book the entire Superstar Shakeup all at once and didn't think things out. Now, with the wild card rule, if Vince comes up with the plan and says, you know what? People are responding to Robert Roode on Twitter saying, how is that new gimmick going to work? He's getting a response. Let's see if he can get another response tomorrow night on SmackDown, and let's do something good with him. So maybe he can see something on a Raw and correlate that to a SmackDown. Now, I know what you're going to say. There's a lot of time between a SmackDown and a Raw, so how are you going to figure out who from Raw goes to SmackDown? We'll see how it all does pan out. We'll see if this does help the ratings. This is the big thing, is WWE wants this to help the ratings. Now this week and maybe even next week, we may not see a difference, but going forward, maybe after Money in the Bank in 2 weeks, we'll see that difference. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below on WWE's new wild card rule, allowing 4 superstars to go from SmackDown to Raw or Raw to SmackDown on any given week for one night only opportunities. Who would you like to see cross the line and show up on the other brand's show on any given week? And don't just tell me who you want to see jump over. Don't just say, I want to see Andrade show back up on Raw. Tell me why you would want to see a certain superstar show up on the other brand, even if it's just for one night only. But that's going to do it for this episode. Remember to comment below, like and share this video, like us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, subscribe here on YouTube, and follow PWUnlimited.net for the latest in pro wrestling news.